Kia ora, Year 12 and 13. This is the 5th complex numbers video. This one's got the longest title. It's using conjugate surds to rationalise the denominator. And this is based on the excellent delta exercise, delta 28.6. So that's on page 263. So what we're going to do here is look at fractions where we've got a surd in the denominator, but it's a level up on the complex 4 video. Before we get to fractions though, I want to look at the idea of a conjugate surd and show you what that is. So suppose that I've got a number like this. So 2 plus the square root of 7. So it's got two parts. It's got this bit, which is ordinary old 2, so a rational number, and then it's got the surd, which is the square root of 7. So what I want to look at is what happens when we have a number like that, or in the first example, 2 plus root 5, and we multiply it by what we call the conjugate surd, which is 2 minus root 5. It turns out that that's going to give us a very nice rational number. So we can do it just how we expand brackets. So we get 2 2s are 4, then we do these two, or whatever order you do it in, plus 2 root 5, right? Then I get minus 2 root 5. And lastly, I've got plus root 5 times negative root 5, so I get minus 5. Okay, so overall, these two will always add to 0, and my answer will be 4 minus 5, which is negative 1. So here's the next example. 4 plus root 7 times the conjugate of it will give me 16 plus 4 root 7 minus 4 root 7 minus 7, which is 9. So we're going to use that idea with fractions starting on the next slide. Okay, so the example we'll start with is 1 over 4 plus root 3. Right, so we looked in the last video at how we don't like, by convention, flipping any surds in the denominator. We can always multiply a fraction by 1, but this time I'm going to choose to multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate surd. So there we go. Now it's a good idea to pop some brackets in here, so make the brackets visible. And we're going to start by simplifying the denominator. Right, so I'm going to do this is the last time I'm going to write out all the steps. But we get 16 plus 4 root 3, change colour pen, minus 4 root 3 minus 3. Right, so that's coming from this one times this one. And on the top line in this case, because I started with a nice easy 1, we're going to have 1 times 4 minus 1 times root 3. So that now gives me 4 minus root 3 over 13. Okay, so you can either leave it written like that, or you can write it as 4/13 minus root 3 on 13. I think either's fine. Alright, I'm going to do a slide now where you've got 3 examples to try. So pause the video and have a go at those. Okay, we'll go back to number 1. So example 1, 5 over 3 plus root 2. Example 2, 3 root 2 over 5 root 2 minus 2 root 6. Got to make things a little bit harder. Now I'm just going to fit 2 on that slide. So off you go, pause and try and work them out. And in each case you find the conjugate surd and you times top and bottom by the same thing. Okay, so let's see how we do this. We'll put our brackets in here. The conjugate surd here will be 3 minus root 2. So we're going to do this. Right, first working with the denominator, I'm going to have 9. These go. Okay, 9 minus 2, so that'll be 7. Up the top, I've got 5 times 3 is 15, minus 5 root 2. Okay, so it's 5 times that. So that gives me 15 minus 5 root 2 over 7. Okay, so cranking it up a little bit for this one. Whoops, I don't want that. Just let me erase that there. Okay, so multiplying top and bottom by the conjugate, which in this case will be 5 root 2 plus 2 root 6. Okay, so it's the first time we've seen one like that, but it should be reasonably obvious. So in the numerator, the same thing. Okay, so let's first simplify the denominator. So it's going to be 5 root 2 times 5 root 2. So that will be 25 times 2. Now, as usual, the minus 2 root 6 times this is one term, but the offsetting term is this one here. So plus 2 root 6 times 5 root 2. So they go. Now a nice green pen for the last bit. Now we're going to have this one times this one, which will give me minus 4 times 6. Right, so that bit slowly is minus here, negative times a positive. 2 times 2 gives me the 4. Root 6 times root 6 gives me the 6. Now, I haven't left myself much room for the top line. I'm going to squeeze that in. I'll do that in green. So I'm going to go 3 root 2 times 5 root 2. So that gives me 15 times root 2 times root 2, which is 2, plus 3 root 2 times 2 root 6. So 3 times 2 is 6. Right. Wow, this is the messiest video I've made, I think. Root 2 times root 6 is root 12. Now we've got a whole lot of cleaning up to do here. So maybe copy that down, make sure you've got that down as far as we've gone, and you can pause and try to simplify yourselves from here. Alright, so here comes the new slide now. Okay, so the last line we had on the last page was 15 times 2 plus 6 root 12 over 25 times 2 minus 4 times 6. Now I'm doing this one without having all the working done already. It's quite easy using the tablet to muck it up. So please, can someone in my class let me know if there are any problems with this one. But I think I've copied that over from the last slide. So now we're going to simplify. The bottom line's easy. 25 2 is 50 minus 24, so we get 26 here. And we get 30, but I need to do something with the 6 root 12 because I've got a perfect square, a square number, 4, hiding inside there. So as we know from the earlier videos, root 12 is equal to 2 root 3, right? So I've pulled that 2 out from inside there, and it's squared. So 6 times root 12 will be 12 root 3. So I can simplify that, and what do we get now? Well, we get, I'm just wondering if I've done something here. No, that looks right. Okay, so 15 plus 6 root 3 divided by 13. Okay, I'm going to do one more example just to show you another one that simplifies, and I'm just going to do the example that's actually in the delta on page 262, so hopefully they don't mind too much. Okie doke, so 2 minus root 3 over 1 minus root 2. So have a go at that one. Right, we're going to times the top and bottom by 1 plus root 2. Right, and we're going to put some brackets in. We don't strictly have to, but I think it's going to help you with your working. In the denominator, I get 1. These two match up, so they go. 1 minus root 2 times root 2 is 2. 1 minus 2. Top line, this time I'm going to have to do some expanding here. So I get 2 minus root 3 coming from here, plus 2 root 2 minus root 6. It doesn't fit on the screen. Okay, so that gives me, what can we do with that? So rewriting 2 minus root 3 plus 2 root 2 minus root 6 divided by negative 1, and that simplifies as negative 2 plus root 3 minus 2 root 2 plus root 6. Okay, so sorry, this video was a bit longer than usual, but students do find these a bit of a step up from the other ones, And in Education Perfect, I'm getting told that some of you are having trouble with these. So make sure you've done quite a few examples from Delta 28.6, okay, and let me know how you get on. Thanks for watching.